Yes, sir. You hear honey barking. You hear me laughing. Relevance established. Relevance established, ladies and gentlemen. Relevance has been established. Culture has been established. The culture, the Miami Hurricanes culture, the Mario Cristobal culture has been established, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful last month of the season. What a beautiful finish to the season today against the Pittsburgh Panthers, against a top 25 team in the country, against a team that you know is tough, is rough and tough. Pat Narduzzi, tough guy, mobster. We get it. But the Miami Hurricanes came in there and finished business today. Let's go. Relevance has been established, ladies and gentlemen. The Miami Hurricanes have made history today with this win over Pittsburgh. Back-to-back 10-win seasons for the first time since 2002, 2003, man. I feel phenomenal right now. I'm happy as a clam. I mean, how can we not be happy? We have to forget about what happens the rest of the night. We have to really enjoy this win, and we have to enjoy these two seasons. I think us as Miami Hurricanes fans really need to take a step back here. As I've said, about taking a perspective, right? We really have to look at what the perspective of this thing is, right? And it felt like multiple seasons here. We forget about that first month of the season. And by the way, guys, I love you all. I'm not looking at the comments just yet. I'm trying to figure out what my thoughts are right now. I'm happy as a clam, and I'm excited right now. And I'm juiced up about how this team finished the year and how they stayed together and how the culture really showed itself on the field the last month, man, because we have not seen that as Hurricane fans in a long time. The way that this team stuck together through hard times when they lost games that they know they should not have lost, and they really stuck through. So what is perspective without context? This team has not done this in 23 years. This team has not done this in 23 years. Go ask, a Florida fan or a Florida State fan right now if they want to switch places with where we are as a program right now. I mean, it felt like two different seasons. We can look at where these teams finished the year, but you beat Notre Dame. We'll see how that holds up here in a few weeks in that conversation. You beat Notre Dame. You beat Florida. You beat Florida State. You beat a ranked USF that was in the playoff conversation all the way to the end of the year. And by the way, you won these games. You won these games with a lot of control. You were not really, Notre Dame game obviously was tight, but Miami was in control for that one, for the majority of that game. So you won these games when these teams were ranked. Florida State had beaten Alabama at the time. Their thing hadn't fallen apart just yet. I don't care how the playoff committee is going to view these things, but as Canes fans, those were big games at the time to us. If you lose to a Florida State, you don't want to hear it from your Florida State fans. If you lose to a Florida, you want to hear it from your Gator fans. If you lose to a Notre Dame, you're not even in this discussion right now. So I say this all to say, as fans, we need to take a step back and realize where we were in that moment. Let's go that Notre Dame game. We're talking about this game today was the biggest game in 20 years. What were we saying about the Florida game on the road last year? We were saying that was the biggest game at the moment. Mario wins that one. Cam Ward, obviously, they get the job done. Win 10 games last year. You lose a couple games you shouldn't have. This year, same sort of situation. Notre Dame, game one, Sunday night. The whole nation's watching you. What are you going to do? You go out there and you had a darn good performance, and you win that game against Notre Dame. Same thing against Florida. You dominate that game, 26-7. Got a little closer than it should have, but Miami dominated that ball game. USF, a team that had just beaten Florida. You win that game as well. Before that, Florida State, on the road, that place was bumping. That place was rocking. You win that game. You have your struggles in the middle of the year there. Things weren't gelling. There was still a lot of, I think there was a learning curve for some guys. There was just certain players hit a wall. Play calling, I think obviously got different. Certain guys got involved more as the season went on there, but they stuck together here. And you go out there and you win 10 games for back-to-back years. And I'm just trying to look at my notes here because, again, I said it, what is perspective without context? We are very in the moment as Hurricane fans. And we are, when I say we're in the moment, I mean we're very orange and green centric. We think, hey, this team should go win a national championship this year. This team should be a lock to win the ACC. Whatever your thoughts were before that, I'll tell you what Vegas said. Vegas said 9.5 wins this year and last year. Last year, Miami wins 10. This year, Miami wins 10. You go over both years in a row. That's an unbiased view at things. That's Vegas, who's going to set things at really what the number should be, not a biased view whatsoever, and you go over in both years. So, I think, to me, when I say this was 2 different seasons, this was a team that could have folded. This was a team that did fold the last 20 years. This is what they did. They laid down at the end of the year. A little adversity hit, and they lost every last game. They maybe won that NC State game. They maybe won the game against Virginia Tech, but they did not win this game. They would have lost one of those other 2 games there. Syracuse, who knows what happened there when it was a tight game before halftime. So, in my lifetime, and you guys tell me if you agree or disagree. In my lifetime, I'm 31 years old. I was there in 2001. I was thank you to my dad who introduced me to the Miami Hurricanes, and I was there in that 2001 season as a season ticket holder, and I remember vague things, but I was there. From that point on, you have those 2-3 years, but I have not, and you're young then, and obviously that was the pinnacle, but I have not felt better about the trajectory of this program than right now. And if you guys feel differently, again, maybe I'm wrong, but I do not see how you can feel better about this program at any point in the last 20 years than where we are right now. What needs to happen next? And by the way, notice what I have not mentioned. That vaunted thing that a lot of people have been tweeting about, that we're going to rely on the politics of, that we're going to rely on some teams losing, some trigonometry, some chemistry. I have not mentioned it just yet. I'm just talking about what we have controlled and what we've done here as a program. Continue. This is, you need to really look at it. How can you say that we've felt better at any point in the last 20 years than where we are right now? What needs to happen next? You need to continue. And yes, we're going to nitpick the coaching here, the coaching there, the play calling. We are, again, like I said, in a very orange and green bubble. Ohio State fans, if you go read their boards, they're not happy with certain things. You go down the list. Texas, who has more resources and more money into things than anybody, and they're paying their coach a whole lot of money. You think their fans are happy right now as they're trying to squeal their way into the playoff here? Look, this is not, we hear the phrase a lot, this is not your father's Hurricanes. This is not your grandfather's, maybe grandfather, I don't know, but this is not your forefathers' Hurricanes. It's not. It hasn't been that for a long time, though. It has not been that for a long time. We need to create new history. And I'm going to say this with the most respect for the program I can. If you need to watch a documentary about the success of the program, then you need to create new history for the recruits. The recruits do not remember what we remember as fans. And me as a young child, I remember certain things. As a 31-year-old, you think these 18, 17, 16-year-olds know what the history of this program is? You need to create new history. You need to, as you're about to do now with last year, Cam Ward, #1 pick of the draft. Ruben Bain, first-round pick this next year. Francis Mawanoa, most likely a high first-round pick here. Other guys will be draft picks. That's how you create new history. That, along with real winning tradition. I'm sorry. And I feel inclined to sometimes apologize when I say stuff that I know will upset people. But if you need to watch a documentary, and I'll say it again, to remind yourself about what this program was, then these kids and these recruits don't know it. So we need to establish, and this is what I've been saying after the SMU game. If you guys listened to that one, I was in Dallas. I was at the game, leaving the stadium. And as someone who comes on this platform every day, along with D Money, obviously, and we are positive people for the most part. Like, we obviously are people that want this program to succeed. Shocker. But I had to take a step back after that game and say, okay, what are we doing here? This is not a program. This is a program that's averaged 7 wins a year over the last 20 years. So would we love to be in the playoff? We would love to. But can we establish this relevance can we win 10 games a year? And by the way, again, I said this yesterday. Shout out to my boy G-Reg, Third Leg. Met him in Dallas. A guy who's a commenter here, a frequent commenter. He said every game in the last 2 years in the 12-team playoff era every game's been a relevant playoff game. Like, as fans, can we just say that that's an exciting thing to be a part of? Yeah, we want to win the championship this year. Yeah, we want to be in the playoff. Some things are out of our control. We'll see what happens here at the end. But like, as fans, every game has been relevant. Every game has been something that we can sit down and say, this means something. Over the past 20 years, man, I've sat down and I've watched a lot of games, and I've cared a lot about games that really didn't mean anything. And that was not fun. So, yeah, man, I just think, look, bottom line, the narrative right now, after you win this game, the narrative right now is way different with 10 wins as opposed to 9 wins going to this offseason. The narrative now is, can Mario get over the hump? That's what the question is going to be now, right? And that's a way different question than, hey, where are the Canes back? I think we put that question to bed. Are the Canes back? What's back? To me, back means it's not a flash in the pan. Back means that you're there. Back means you're in the conversation. So I know Mario doesn't want to answer that question. I know a lot of old school Canes fans will say it, but we'll say, hey, we're not back until we win a championship. Back is you're really in the mix. Back is you're in that conversation year after year. Will they make the playoff? I don't know. But this team is in that mix, is in that conversation. And if they do make that playoff, I don't think anyone wants to see them right now. I really don't. The funny thing is that the narrative will be on Mario this offseason. Hey, can he win the big one? Can he get over the hump? Which was the same narrative about Ryan Day for multiple years before he won last year. And now obviously they're, on their way to be in the mix to potentially do it again. So, yeah, man, I have a couple more things to say here. As I feel like I've been relatively calm here. I think I was just very excited when I got on here, and very proud of how this team, like I said, stuck together. And from top to bottom, a lot of guys have contributed and been a part of this. I want to give a shout out to our guy, Amon Richards, man, because Malachi Tony, he broke that freshman record today. But I think we need to, I've been doing a lot of taking a step back and put things in perspective. Let's remember how special Amon Richards was, because I think as time goes, we forget certain things along the way. But we just saw what we just saw what Malachi Tony did over the course of 12 games here, and it took him 12 games to beat that record. So Amon, shout out to you, man. We appreciate you every Tuesday with us here on the Canes Insight podcast. And again, it took Malachi 12 games to do it, man. And he was doing a lot of different things, but Amon, people got to remember how special you were as well. So appreciate that. Appreciate you as always, and appreciate your contributions to the show. With that being said, man, look, I haven't been tweeting. I haven't been I haven't been politicking. I don't know how much any of this really matters at the end of the day. But I'll say one thing, man. Put us in the dance. You don't want to see us. Put us in the dance. I promise you. Line us up, and we'll be ready to go. Shout out to Miami Hurricane. Shout out to Mario Cristobal and his entire staff. Carson Beck really held it together, man. I think a lot of Canes fans should have some apologies for him. I know he had some ups and downs throughout the year, but really a great way to finish the year. Go Canes. Put us in that dance, man. You don't want to see us.